Come and lay down on your back. Move your arms away from your body. And just gently and slowly start shifting your legs side to side. It's a good time to check in. How you're feeling today, how your hips are feeling today, seeing what's available. Maybe taking the hips involved now more a little bit. And now just windshield wipe those legs over to one side. And then slowly over to the other side and stay there a little bit. Coming all the way back to center that your knees are bent. Start shifting the weight side to side again on your pelvis and try to find your sacrum, which is that flat bone on the base of your spine. Once you find that, reach your arms up all the way to the ceiling and push the back of your ribs all the way down to the ground. Your third contact point is going to be the back of your head. So make sure that your skull is also in contact with the ground. Once you checked in that you have these 3 spots all the way pushing onto the floor, extend your left leg, bring your right knee, bend your right knee and bring it to the chest. Flex the right foot and pull the knee toward your chest, but only to the point where your lower back is still stable on the floor and it's not moving. So it is possible that your knee is not going to go all the way to your chest. Just keep it actively pulling in and start circling the leg around. The circles don't have to be big. We're trying to focus on making this movement happening only from your right hip joint and then switching directions without borrowing from any other parts of the body. Just a few more. And now it's optional to do the same movement with your legs straight. Just a few more. Trying to keep the control, trying to keep the left side of your pelvis steady on the ground. And then switching directions. Controlling the movement all the way. And then release. Bend the left knee without moving your lower back. And then on this side, I did a couple of internal and external rotation, which I didn't do on the other side. So feel free to skip this one or just do it in the end for the other one. And then pull the knee to the chest again and start circling with the left leg. Noticing how important it is not to move the right side of your pelvis. So the right side of your butt is not coming off the ground as you're circling. Just a few more. And then now have the option to do the same movement with a straight leg, which is, it makes it a little bit harder. Just one more. And release. Bend both legs, come into a bridge pose. Reach out for your block and place your block with the skinny side under the base of your spine, under your sacrum. Which means that the fleshy part of your bum is off the block. And then just observe that sensation of a neutral pelvis. Keep pressing the sacrum into that block to feel your lower back lengthening. Press the feet into the ground. Dial the feet out energetically. And bring some awareness into your glutes. Start squeezing your glutes together. You may reach your arms all the way up above your head. And now with your right hand, grab your left hand and start pulling back on your fingertips. Then switch hands. And now keep the same length in the pelvis. Keep the same engagement, just remove the block. Push into your heels and lift your toes off of the ground. Imagine you're energetically dragging your heels toward your glutes. Keep staying up. And now lift your right leg up and place it on top of the left leg. Lift that right glute all the way up. Keep the engagement. Keep it squeezing. It should be shaking now. And then without losing anything, right leg comes down, left foot comes up. Just gently lift that left glute all the way up with the help of your left heel. Keep it engaged. And then slowly put your foot down. Press into the big toes. Start lifting your heels all the way up and then all the way down a few more times. And then the last one is going to be a hold. Keep pressing into the toes. And then finally release. Stay up. Press into the heels, lift the toes up again. Energetically keep pulling your heels toward the back of your mat. So you should feel a ton of engagement on the back of your leg and on your bum. And now start walking your heels out just one step at a time. Pull everything together, squeeze in, and then walk the feet out again, one step at a time. And then maybe out again, so your legs are almost extended. And then with control and strength, not losing the length in the lower back, one foot at a time, start walking them in. Left foot comes in. Find that lift again. And then slowly segmentally release all the way down. Bring the knees to the chest. Rock side to side. Roll over to your right side. Reach the right arm out in front of you. Head is resting on the ground. Lift your left leg up. Open the leg to the side. Once you open it, find that inner rotation and extend it all the way back. We're just doing circles all the way back. So knees together. Open the leg to the side. Then rotate in and extend it back. And bring it forward. Switching direction, now the leg moves back and then circling it from the outside all the way back. Using only that top hip to do the movement. Last one. Release. Come all the way up. Switch sides. If you have that block, and if it feels more comfortable, then you can place that block under your head. And switching side, lifting the right leg up, opening it to the side, rotating it in, and then bringing it all the way back. Out to the side, rotate it in, extend it back. One more. Open, knee turns in. Slowly extend it back, bring it in, switching directions. Now extending the leg back Once you find that spot, you can go further, bring it all the way forward. Making sure that there's no movement in the lower back. One more. Go slow. Slower than me. And then release. Remove the block. Come all the way up. Come into a quadruped position. Try to stack your wrist under your shoulders. Your arms are straight. And just start circling around your hands now with the torso. Fingertips are pointing forward. Elbow pits are pointing forward. And now switch directions. And now start turning your hands all the way out and in. So the shoulders are in external rotation. Fingertips are pointing back at your knees. Maybe you're going to bend the elbows, maybe not. Then start walking the hands all the way out into the other direction. Fingertips are pointing back again. And now the fingertips are going to point out to the side, so the hands are parallel. Fingertips are pressing into the ground, and start lifting the base of your hand all the way up and then slowly down. All the way up, pressing into the knuckles, and all the way down. Slowly with control, going up and down. And the last one is a hold. Start circling with your thumbs again, and then release. Flip over to the back of your hand. This could already be intense, so just be careful here. And if it's available, then start doing these little push-ups. But just very gently, seeing what's available. Do a few. And then pressing into the back of the hands, we're going to come as straight as we can, and then we start circling with the thumbs again. Eventually moving the thumbs all the way into the center of the palm, squeezing the hands together, and then release. I'm showing you from this other angle, the push-ups on the back of the hand, circling of the thumbs, moving the thumbs into circle, wrapping the fingers around. And then again, thumb moves to center, wrap the other fingers around it, squeeze, and release. Return back to your quadruped position, extend your right leg back, and flip over to the top of the foot. Keep the top of the foot in contact with the ground and start circling around, like you're squishing that foot all the way into the ground. We're trying to make contact with the floor here with points of your foot which don't normally get into contact with the floor. And then switch directions. Try to keep your back straight, arms are staying straight. And switch sides. Left foot goes back. Flip over to the top of the foot and circle. If you've never done this movement, it can feel a little bit awkward, but it also feels really good. Come back to your tabletop position. Curl your toes under and sit back on your heels. Arms are resting in front of you. This can already be an intense toe stretch. Feel free to stay here. Or you may choose to take your hands away from the floor, keeping your spine and your neck straight. I'm gonna stay here for a couple of more breaths. You can stay here all the way, or gently start taking your knees away from the floor. So now you're up on your tippy toes. And keeping your spine straight, try to touch the ground with sending one knee forward, then come back, then the other one. And then you can try with both knees. And if you find it very challenging or it's just not happening, then you can grab a block, place it in front of your knees, and try to do the same movement with the help of the block. You can try with both knees now. So not leaning from the torso, but allowing the knees to shift forward. without the help of our back. Just a couple of more times, and then we'll stay up on the tippy toes. The idea here is to come all the way up to standing with keeping your torso straight, so without leaning forward or back. Imagine you have a tight rope in front of you, and grab your imaginary rope as you come all the way up to standing. Place a block in front of you. I'm going to step up on that block with the right foot. So your heel is on the block, your toes are on the ground, almost like you're up on your tippy toes. And now lift your left leg up, flex that left foot, keeping your pelvis leveled. And just start bending your right knee, touching down with the left heel. Really important to keep your pelvis leveled. I'm going to show it to you from a side angle. The left leg is engaged, and it's the right knee what initiates the movement, not the hips. Just a few more. Keep going. Up and down, slowly with control. Keeping your pelvis leveled. And then release. I'm going to switch sides. Left foot steps up on the block. Your heel is pressing into the block. Toes are off. And bend the left knee. Touch down with the right heel. Again, try not to lean forward or back. Try to keep your torso straight. Keep going, just a few more. One more. And release. Step up on the blocks with both feet, that your heels are leaning off of the block, your toes are pressing into it. Engage your legs, start releasing the heels, and then start pushing all the way into your toes and lift your heels all the way up and all the way down. Few of that, slowly. And then the last one, we're going to keep pressing all the way down. So the heels are reaching down to the ground. They're not touching, but they're going toward the ground. And then release. Right foot steps forward. Left leg is just a little bit behind, like a crescent lunge. Square your pelvis forward. Shift weight into that front leg and then move the knee in and come back. Shift forward. Knee goes out to the side. Come back. Forward. Knee goes in. Return back. Shift again. Knee goes out and return. You can keep going like that, or at this point you can just keep continuing with the circles all the way around. And then switch directions. And this can feel a little awkward if you've never done this movement before. So you can just stay here and keep circling like that. If you are familiar with the movement and you're choosing to add a little bit of load to it, then lift your left leg away from the floor and just circle on one leg. That's certainly going to make it more challenging. And then switching directions from that position as well. If you were doing the circling on both legs, then come and lift your left leg up. Come and join us. Keep your pelvis nice and leveled, so no movement in the lower back. And then hands come together and start twisting from side to side, super slowly. The movement is coming from the torso. The legs and the knees are not moving. And then release. Shake your legs out. And let's switch sides. Left foot comes forward. Bend that right knee as generously as you need to keep the pelvis neutral. You should feel a little bit of engagement on that right hip flexor. Shift forward into the left knee. And then move the knee out, shift back. Shift forward, knee moves in, shift back. Again, forward, out and back, forward, in and back. Keep going, or you may choose to just keep circling. If you feel any tension in the lower back, then step that right foot closer to the left foot. Switch directions or come off of the right leg. See how single leg circle feel on the left side. Just a couple of more. If you had your foot down, if you were doing that version, then this is the time to lift it up and prepare for those twists. So we're trying to keep our pelvis facing forward and only twisting from the side. And release. Shake the legs out. Grab a stick. If you don't have a stick, then you can go and use the wall just for stability. Lift your right leg up. Flex the right foot. Keep your pelvis leveled. Start rotating your knee all the way out so your heel comes in. Come back to center and now turn the knee in. The heel goes out. Again, turn it out, external rotation, back to center, roll it in, internal rotation. Going into that external rotation, opening the leg to the side just to the point here that your pelvis doesn't move. And then start rotating your knee all the way in as you extend it all the way back and down so the knees touch. Come up again. Find that external rotation. Start opening the leg. Go into that inner rotation and reach it all the way back. Just one more. Try to go slow. And try to keep your pelvis leveled. Switching directions. Going to move the knee back now, the right knee, just to the point that there's no movement in the lower back. The glute is squeezing, and then without lifting the hip up, circle it all the way back forward. Yeah, keep the engagement. Maybe the circle is very tiny, but don't take the torso with it. Don't take the pelvis with it. One more. And come down. Let's switch sides. Lift your left leg up. Demonstrate that neutral pelvis again, so the hips are leveled. Flex the foot. Start rotating your knee all the way, your thigh all the way out. Back to center, and now the knee turns in. Knee turns out. Knee turns in. Roll it out again, external rotation. Start opening the leg to the side, just to the point that your hip bone doesn't move. Then inner rotate, drop the knee in as you keep the engagement and extend it all the way back. Bring it forward again. Start turning the leg out, finding that external rotation, opening to the sides, turning it in and extending it back. Last one, opening it to the side, finding that inner rotation, reaching all the way back. And release. Now we're going to switch directions again. So extend the knee back and then circle it forward without the sassy hips. Extend it back. Circle it forward. No movement in the lower back. Last one. And release. Return to standing on the top of your mat. And let's take a moment to look at hamstring engagement a little bit. So from standing position, just start kicking back with one leg and then with the other leg, and keep alternating between those two legs, just kicking your heels back toward your glutes. Then you might notice that there's not a lot of things happening here because there's no engagement. So from here, I'm going to bend the knees and I'm going to press into my right heel as I'm energetically trying to drag it back. So as I'm doing this kickback, now suddenly the air is dense and I need resistance to do it. So you should feel a ton of engagement in the back of your leg by doing so. You can also imagine that you stepped into chewing gum and you're trying to get it off your foot. And then do a few and then do it on the other side. Slowly with engagement, dragging that foot. Come back to standing. Reach your arms all the way up. As you exhale, bend the knees and keep that dragging action of your feet going energetically as you step your right foot back. Lower the top of the foot and the knee. Shift the weight forward into that front leg and come back. Forward again, all the way back. Step your foot out into a different direction, shift forward again, come back. And now into another different direction, all the way in, all the way out. Let's go again. Stepping it out, coming back, finding that other angle, other direction, and coming all the way back. From here, start moving your pelvis side to side, or you can circle with it. We're looking at what kind of freedom does the pelvis have in this position. Then find engagement on the right side, fire the right glute up and reach your arms forward. Fingertips are pointing forward. Start turning your fingers all the way down, arms are engaged. Drop your chin to the chest and start rounding your spine here, flexing your spine. Imagine there's a wall in front of you and you're pressing into that wall with your fingertips. And release. You can repeat the exact same movement, or if you're ready to take it up a notch, we're gonna do it in an inner rotation. So my left knee is rolling in, the foot comes in, the right thigh rolls in. And I'm trying to keep this posterior tilt in my pelvis, the length in the lower back as I reach my arms forward, start pressing down with the fingertips, pushing into that imaginary wall as I tuck my chin all the way down and round the spine. From here, exhale the hands down, step all the way back to downward dog, pedal your feet out. Start walking your hands all the way to your feet, keeping a generous bend in the knees, sitting into the glutes. Exhale, folding forward, releasing your head. Then walk yourself all the way back to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Right knee comes down. Oh, sorry, wrong leg. Come back to downward dog. Step your right foot forward and drop your left knee down. Come all the way up, shift the weight forward and come back. One more time before we start taking it out to the side, shifting forward, coming back, going to the other side. Now let's just do one more round into all three directions. Last one. Come back to center. Keep moving your pelvis around, tilting back and forth or circling around. Eventually finding that engagement on the left side, firing the right glute up, reaching your arms all the way forward. Start turning the fingertips down toward the ground. Drop your chin to your chest and start rounding your spine. Keep pushing into that imaginary wall and release. Going to repeat one more time the same movement, or you can go into that other version where both legs are internally rotated. Same idea, trying to keep the pelvis neutral as much as possible. Reach forward with your hands and keep pushing into the wall. Exhale the hands down. Step all the way back into downward facing dog. Bend one knee, then the other. Paddle your feet out. Then shift all the way forward into plank. Keep pulling your fingers to the toes, toes to the fingers. Bend the elbows and slowly with control come all the way down to the ground. Press your feet into the ground, your pelvis into the ground. Keep your chest heavy as you hover your hands off of the ground. From here, pressing into the hands, either plank, upward dog, or downward dog. We all come back to downward dog. Then with the next inhalation, reach your right leg up to the sky. Keep your pelvis squared, bend the knee and bring it all the way into the chest. Reach it back again, and then bring it to the chest. But this time, step that right foot forward, bend the back leg as you come all the way up into a high lunge. Start bending that back leg, releasing it all the way down to the ground, and then come up. Go down, and all the way up, all the way down. Last one is going to be a hold, stay down. And now start twisting from the torso, reach your left arm forward, right arm back. You may choose to stay here, or if it's available for you, start reaching back with the right arm. Now exhale the left hand all the way down. Keep reaching the right arm all the way up. Keep that right hip heavy as you start circling forward with your arms. Left glute is fired up. Just a few more, and now switch directions, circling the other way. And now place your hand behind your head. You may drop your left knee down. As you start to inhale and open the chest, and then the elbow comes down, and then inhale, open it back up. Do a few more. Don't let your ribs pop out. Keep your right hip really heavy. Left glute is fired up. Last one is a hold. Reach the arm up. And now exhale the hands down beside each other. Pivot over to the left side. Bend the knee side to side and lounge, side lounging side to side. Shift the weight back to the heels, keeping the weight all in your glutes. And now place your right hand down, bend the left knee, reach the left arm up. Pivot all the way to the back of your mat. So you're facing at the back of your mat. Reach the hands all the way up as you come up into that high lunge. Start bending the right leg, descending the right knee close to the ground, and then coming up and down. With control, keeping the glutes fired up. Last one is a hold. Start reaching the right arm forward, left arm back as you're twisting. You may choose to do a little back bend here. Exhale the right hand down. It's in line with the left toes. Keep the left hip heavy and reach your left arm up. Again, you may choose to drop all the way down to the back knee as you start circling with your arms. Few more circles, then we switch directions. A couple of more. Now reach the arm up. Hand comes behind the head. And Try to imagine this twist as it's coming from your middle back. So when you reach back with the elbow, keep the ribs down, but reach a little bit more behind. Last one is a hold. Reach the arm up. Hands come down beside each other. Pivot over to the right side and start side lounging. Do just a few. And then shift the weight forward, step back into downward dog. Then come forward into plank, bend the elbows, lower all the way down in one piece. Feet are pressing into the ground, hover the hands off. And from here, you don't have to come into an upward dog. You can just go all the way back into a downward dog as an option. And now stepping or hopping forward. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up again. Exhale, hinging forward, step or hop back, lower down again. You can also skip these vinyasas and just stay in downward dog. If you're down on the ground now, hover the hands off of the floor one more time. Pressing into the hands, inhale for that up dog, exhale, downward dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, shift forward, step the right foot forward, come up into a high lunge, and immediately open it up into a warrior two. Reach all the way back, reverse warrior. And now bend the elbow, rest it on the top of the thigh, warrior two variation. Reach back again, reverse. As you start to return to warrior two, keep shifting forward and see if you can pick up that back leg for half moon position. Keep opening the chest. See if you can take your right hand away from the floor to keep the pose actively going. And now start to roll all the way back to center so you arrive into a warrior three bend knee airplane variation as you start shifting back and stepping your left foot back so you're back in your low lunge. From here, press into the right tippy toe and start to lift your foot off of the ground. Maybe the foot not gonna lift, just playing around with it, doing a little proprioception work here for the hips. And now try and keep it up. See if we can keep it up a little bit. Just a few more seconds. Feel free to use your arms. And from here, we're going to reach that right leg all the way out to the side. Come all the way down on your hands. And start moving, cat-cowing your lower back a little bit. And now come all the way up. Reach the arms out to the side. Look over to your right hand and reach over to the right side. Back to center, looking over at the left hand, reaching out to the left. And repeat one more time each side. Noticing that I'm only reaching with my arms and my pelvis is not moving. And then this time when you go to the left, see if it's available to reach your left arm all the way down to the ground as you're reaching all the way above your head with your right arm. You could also have a block here under the left arm. You can also come up on your fingertips. Keep reaching with that right arm. Feel the length on the side of the body. And then to release, round all the way forward, hands come down in front of you. Curl the left toes under, shift forward as you lift all the way up into a one-legged downward facing dog. Bend the right knee. Come back into downward dog on your tippy toes. And then shift over to the left and then step your right foot on top of your left toes. And then shifting all the way to the other side, stepping your left foot on the top of the right foot. Coming back to center into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bring it to the chest. And then shift forward, step the left foot forward. Come all the way up into a high lunge. Reach up with the arms. Exhale, open it up to warrior two. Reach back, reverse. And then come forward into that warrior two variation. Alternating again between reverse. And now as you come back into warrior two, shift forward, see if you can pick up the back leg for half moon. Keep opening the chest, flex the top leg like you're kicking back at a wall. And now you can keep your front leg bent as you circle all the way back to center, keeping the back nice and straight, stepping that right foot back into that low lunge again. And now we start that proprioception work on the left side, coming up on the tippy toes and lifting that left foot up and down. So you can keep lifting it up and down, or try and leave it all the way up. Feel free to use your hands to help you with it. Keeping the leg up as long as possible. And then eventually, we're going to reach that left leg out to the side. Reaching the arms out to the side. Looking over to the left this time, reaching over with the torso. Back to center, over to the right. Leaning over like I'm reaching to grab something. Again, over to the left. And this time, over to the right. See if you can reach that right hand all the way down. Keep lengthening that left arm all the way above your head. Pull the ribs in, push the hips forward. Then start rounding all the way forward. Hands come down as you push yourself up into a one-legged downward facing dog. Again, left foot is reaching up. Feet comes down, up on your tippy toes, shift over to the right, and then step the left foot on top of the right foot. And now back onto the tippy toes, shifting to the left. Right foot is stepping on the top of the left foot. Then come back to downward dog. And just walk your feet all the way forward to your hands. And slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll all the way up to standing. Your head comes up last. Sun salutation A. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees to hinge if you want to get your hamstrings recruited. Step or hop. Lower slowly with control. Hover the hands away from the ground. It's an optional pressing into upward dog or right away coming into downward facing dog. Start walking your hands toward your feet. Bend the knees if you want to recruit your hamstrings and slowly roll all the way up to standing. Come back to the top of your mat. And inhale, lift your right leg up. The foot. Just start moving your hips up and down a couple of times. Eventually arriving into a position when you're pushing it all the way down so the hips are leveled. Bend the front leg, bring the knees together, place your hand on your belly and on your lower back to make sure nothing's moving. And just using your hips, start opening your legs side to side. Once you're done that, move the knee a little bit behind and start sending that leg back and forth, but again, without moving the pelvis. And then start hinging forward. coming into a bent knee airplane / warrior 3 variation. You may choose to extend your leg here, and you may also choose to find that half moon position again, with or without your left hand touching the ground. Bend the left knee, come back into warrior 2, and then turn it into a goddess. Feet are turning out. Reach your arms all the way out to the side, and then bend it into a gold post position and start pulsing with the arms all the way back, gently squeezing the scapulas together. Now keep your pelvis fixed and just start twisting from the torso. So try not to move the pelvis, just twist from above. Shift all the way back, forward to the top of the mat. Right hand comes down. Reach your left arm up for a twist. And now place the hands down, step back into plank, and lower all the way down to the ground again. Hovering the hands off, that is perfectly enough for an upward dog if you choose to do that, and just roll all the way back to down dog. Walk your feet to your hands again and roll all the way up to standing. Switching sides, bring your left leg up. I'm showing you from a side angle, doing the sassy hips side to side, eventually arriving into a position when you're pushing that left hip down. Bend the right leg, keeping the pelvis leveled, and start opening the legs side to side without any movement in the lower back. Then once you found that and have that sensation, then with the same actions, keep moving the leg all the way back. And then when you're ready, keep the right knee leg bent and find your way going to that bent knee airplane, warrior 3 variation. Optionally, finding that half moon, keeping that top leg really engaged like you're kicking back at a wall. And then with control, arriving back into goddess, the arms are reaching all the way out. Bring the hips down lower, keep pulsing, and then start rotating your arms from the shoulders all the way in and then all the way out, staying all the way out, eventually in that external rotation, bending the elbows forward and just pulsing back, bringing the elbows all the way back, squeezing the scapula together. You can alternate between the arms, or you can do it together. Try both. Then stay behind, squeeze the scapulas together, and then start bringing the elbows close to the ribs, and then reach the arms out. Do a few of that. Then leave the elbows close to the ribs and then start bending side to side. Shift all the way forward. Left hand comes down, right arm reaching up. Right hand comes down, step back to plank. Bend the elbows, slowly lower all the way down. Reach your left arm out to the side. Come up on your right fingertips. Bend the right leg and twist it over to the other side. Lots of options here. You can reach out with the leg straight. You can remove that top arm and reach it all the way back as well. And just see what feels good. And then roll all the way back to center. Right arm reaches out. Come up on the left fingertips and swing that left foot over to the other side. You can play around with your hands or with the leg. And then slowly come all the way back. Bend the elbows, hover the hands off of the ground. Inhale into an upward dog or just directly go into downward facing dog. Come all the way down on your knees, sitting up straight. Reach the arms out to the side. Bend the left elbow and reach over with the right arm above your head. Come back to center. Switch sides, right elbow bends. Then come all the way back. Place your hands in front of you, curl the toes under and come up into a toe squat for one last time. Keep pressing into the toes and then reaching one leg forward, come all the way down to a seated position. You can also try that with your other leg. Come all the way down, lie down on your back. Bend the knees, bring your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit side to side, giving your lower back a little bit of a massage. Place your left foot down. Bend your right leg and cross it over for an all-four stretch. Make sure that your sacrum, your middle back under your brow line, and the back of your skull, all those 3 points are touching the ground. Keep actively pushing that right knee toward the top of the mat. So that right leg is really active. Come all the way up on your elbows if it's available. And now lift your left leg away from the floor and keep resisting. The right knee is pushing out, the left knee is trying to come all the way to the chest energetically. Then release the feet away from each other just to see what our active range is. And then place the foot down, shift it side to side. And we're going to do a little bit of a glute squish on this side. So you're gonna wrap your left arm around your leg, turn it out to the side, and reach it all the way into the ground. So you can just dig in and massage it. If you had a foam roller or a massage ball, you could also use it here. And then come back to center, switch legs. Left foot is crossing on top of the right leg. Flex the foot and keep energetically pressing it out in front of you. Lift the right leg away from the floor. And your right knee is energetically trying to pull back to your chest, but the left knee is resisting it. Now move the feet away from each other. And now place the feet down. Rock side to side, the windshield wiper. And now we're going to massage our left glute. If you can also wrap around your right arm, around that leg. Bring it a little bit closer to you. It's gonna make it deeper. And then lean into it. It's also a good time just to experiment. If you can feel the movement a little deeper. And then come all the way back down. Keep your knees bent, arms reaching out. Windshield wiping side to side. Walk the feet out a little further than your mat. Lift your left toes off of the ground, press into the heel, and actively start releasing the left knee to the center of your mat. Don't move the right knee. Leave it as it is. Don't shift with the pelvis. Optional to reach the arms above your head and start stretching your arms out, lifting the arms out of the scapula. And then to release, slowly stop engaging everything and then move the leg back. Now switching sides. right knee drops all the way into center. Keep pressing into that right inner heel. Arms are either reaching up or staying alongside the body, and then slowly release the engagement. Walk your feet back and just extend your legs and prepare for Shavasana. If you have a blanket or a towel, you can put it under your head for support. And let's spend a few breaths laying down all together. Of course, if you would like to spend more time in Shavasana, then feel free to turn the camera off. And then I'll see you next time. Or just stay here with me for another few breaths. With every exhalation, feel your body getting heavier and heavier, sinking into the ground. Inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. We're going to spend another couple of minutes in Shavasana together. Slowly start moving your toes and your fingers. Maybe reach your arms all the way above your head. Gather your knees together, bring them to the chest. Slowly rock side to side. Then roll over to your right side, creating a pillow with your right arm under. Let's stay here for another couple of breaths. When you're ready, with the help of your left arm, press yourself all the way up to seated. Cross your legs in front of you. Take a hold of your knees. And then start leaning back and rounding your spine, dropping your chin to the chest. And then come all the way back up. Find a little bit of a lift. And then going back and rounding again. Coming back to a little bit of an extension. Looking over the right shoulder for a twist. And switching sides, right hand comes on the top of the left knee. Look over the left shoulder. And come back to center. Lift your right arm up, bend the left elbow, reach your arm above. Come back to center, switch sides. All the way back up. Drop your chin all the way down to your chest and start rotating over to the right, looking at your right shoulder. Keep the right shoulder heavy. Side bend to the right. And then place your right hand under your right cheekbone and slowly move your head all the way back to center. Release the right arm down. Drop your chin all the way down to the chest again. Start rotating over to the left. Find that lateral bend again on the left side. Keep the shoulders heavy. And place your left hand under your left cheekbone to press your head gently all the way back to center. Thank you so much for practicing with me again today. Any questions or comments, please comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Hope to see you soon again. Have a good day.